What's up, all my fellow Marvel fans out there? I'm Steven, and thank you for tuning into this video today. Now, as you all know, in a few weeks, the newest movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain Marvel, will be hitting the big screens and bringing us the newest hero to add to the roster already, like joining Iron Man and all them. I, for one, am really excited for this movie, mostly because I'm curious how it's going to connect to the larger MCU as a whole. And we all know that this movie will be taking place in the 1980s, many years before the events we've seen in the previous Avengers movies. And we can also speculate that she'll be assisting the Avengers in the upcoming Avengers Endgame movie in some way or another. However, with all that has been happening, a lot of us fans have kind of wondered where she's been this whole time and why she hasn't stepped in to help the other heroes in the previous films. So in this video, I'm going to be delving deep into that mystery as I present you with my own theories of her current status. I first need to clarify that I have never read any really comic books in my life. I like the movies better. And I don't know the origin of Captain Marvel that well, or the powers that she actually possesses. So it's going to be new for me going into this movie, seeing what powers she actually possesses. All these theories I'm going to be giving you are simply based on how I feel things are going to play out in the movie, as well as the future of the MCU, and how it's going to connect everything. So let's dig in. With all the recent Captain Marvel trailers that we've been shown, we learned that she is basically coming to Earth to track down the shape-shifting aliens known as the Skrulls, who are also involved in a war with the Kree, which are Captain Marvel's people that she's with originally. And it's starting to look like the entire movie is going to be based around this conflict between the two of them, where Captain Marvel will have to be the one who's kind of attempting to bring the peace and end that war, and she's going to be involved in that war the entire time. Even if she does, by the end of the movie, manage to bring an end to that war, that doesn't necessarily mean that there might not be more Skrulls out there hiding somewhere, just lying in wait to bring more war in the future. So that's where this theory comes in. What if she hasn't been a part of any of these other events in the MCU because she has been too busy tracking down these other Skrulls and chasing them all through the universe this whole time? I mean, they seem like a pretty powerful group to me, and they could probably wreak all kinds of havoc if they were given the chance to roam free. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with the Skrulls by the end of the movie, but if a few of them were to escape, I'd like to think that Captain Marvel would go to great lengths to make sure that they don't come back and start another war. And if that were the case, then it would be a pretty genuine excuse as to where she's been this whole time, and why she hasn't been present for any other major event that has gone down so far. It seems to me that Captain Marvel is a character who is always thrust into these intergalactic wars involving various groups of different aliens and species, and she's always the one that has to play peacekeeper in order to prevent things from getting too far out of hand and all that. And if she's the one who willingly takes on that task all the time, then I'd like to think that there would be some kind of foes out there who would want her to be removed from the picture. However, I get this feeling that she might be a little too powerful for them to necessarily kill, and they would have to try something else to get her out of the way. Instead of trying to kill her, what if they simply somehow captured her in some way and kept her hostage somewhere? And if they did that, of course, it would have to be somewhere she couldn't really escape from or couldn't find her way out of. I'm not exactly sure what kind of trap that would be, or where they could keep her for that sort of thing, but it would have to be somewhere secure that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't escape. Or they might even somehow put her in something like a cryogenic sleep, or something else along those lines where she isn't even aware that she's been captured. Either way, if this were to happen, I think it would be another reasonable explanation for her absence. Plus, it would make an interesting plot for the next Captain Marvel movie if they ever made one, don't you think? Because if she's been captured this whole time and doesn't realize she's been captured or whatever, I feel like if that were the case for this Captain Marvel movie, she would have to, like, somehow get into contact with the Avengers, and then she wakes up from this sleep, or she manages to escape from where she's captured to go help the Avengers against Thanos. So that's another reason she might be have been gone this whole time. With everything Captain Marvel seems to get herself involved in, I'm sure there are a lot of consequences that follow all of her actions. One of those may be, getting the attention of a more powerful foe that's out there somewhere, who would love nothing more than to prove their worth and take out the woman who's basically considered the most powerful hero in the universe. So if I were her, I would want to go into hiding to avoid running into these more dangerous foes somewhere down the line. I mean, think about it. If you knew that there was someone out there tracking you down, trying to get rid of you, wouldn't you try to hide as well? That just makes sense, because no matter how powerful she may be, that doesn't mean she can't be defeated. If she truly is the most powerful hero in the entire universe, that makes her a major threat to any villain out there trying to rule over everything. Now, that's hiding for her own safety, but what about the safety of others? What if she decided to go into hiding because she knows that every battle she's in leads to unnecessary casualties? Like an innocent civilian gets killed, or multiple civilians get killed in the wake of the battle and all that. It's kind of similar to how the Hulk took himself as far away from Earth as possible after the Avengers fought Ultron, because he felt he was putting the people of Earth's lives at risk, so he tried to get himself as far away from the battle as possible. Because that's the best way to avoid causing harm to innocent people, is to avoid the type of conflict that makes it happen in the first place. There's also a third reason she might consider going into hiding, although it's less likely considering the type of hero she is, and that is to simply take a vacation from it all. Obviously, I'm not talking like going to the beach and hanging out forever and not going back into any kind of wars or anything. But what I'm trying to say is that it would get pretty exhausting after a while being in all these battles she's in, and I feel that she would probably want a break from it all. The best way to get a break, of course, is to move far away from where all the action is taking place. No matter what her reasoning may be, people who go into hiding normally don't come back unless they are forced to, or it is absolutely necessary, or if somebody finds them or whatever, but they usually don't come out of hiding. She may not have felt that the Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy or anybody else has needed her yet, so she's remained in hiding this whole time. This final theory that I have is going to sort of tie everything together and may involve what could be a potential cameo from one major MCU character popping up in the Captain Marvel movie. I'm talking, of course, about the time-traveling Sorcerer Supreme himself, Doctor Strange. I know a lot of you are probably wondering how exactly Doctor Strange would be able to make an appearance in this movie, considering that it takes place long before he even became the Sorcerer Supreme in the first place. But I have a simple explanation, and that, of course, is time travel. As you all know, in Infinity War, there is a scene where Doctor Strange is on the planet Titan and is looking forward to many different futures, trying to find the best way that they can defeat Thanos. But what if all of that wasn't entirely the case? Let's look at it like this. Doctor Strange used the Time Stone to travel ahead multiple times to multiple different versions of the future, And in each of those futures, different things happened that either lead to the Avengers' victory or their defeat. And after he returns from the future, from seeing all those futures, he tells Tony Stark and the Guardians of the Galaxy that they're victorious in only one of those versions of the future that he saw. But he doesn't really tell them much else. He doesn't tell them how they're going to win or what needs to happen for them to win. He just kind of leaves that up in the air and doesn't really speculate on anything. And I feel this may be because he has already secretly orchestrated everything behind the scenes, so to speak, that will lead the Avengers to winning the final battle against Thanos. And he can't risk anyone messing that up. So that's why he didn't tell anybody about how to actually do it, and he didn't reveal his plan to anyone. After seeing that one scenario where they win in the future, I feel like he may have then taken a trip back to the past as well during this whole sequence to make sure that everything played out how it needs to. This is where Captain Marvel comes in. Stay with me, everybody. Let's say, for example, when he traveled to the one future where the Avengers managed to defeat Thanos, he was introduced to Captain Marvel, whom up until that point he had never even heard of. He didn't know who she is. He's never met her before. That's where he learns that she is actually going to play a major role in their victory over Thanos. After that, after meeting her and learning who she is, he then goes back in time to meet her in the past to warn her of the future that's going to be coming. Together, in the past, they come up with some sort of plan that involves her either hiding away or disappearing so that she can save all her energy and, learn more about her powers for when she knows she'll be called upon in the future. That plan may also involve Nick Fury and that pager that we see at the end of Avengers Endgame, but that's a different theory for another time. I know it sounds like a lot to take in, but if you put it all together, it sort of makes sense. In short, she hasn't been present for any of the events involving the Avengers later on because she's been hiding away, training, and resting up for the biggest battle where they need her the most, because of this run-in with Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange orchestrated it where he tells her to go into hiding, to keep herself safe from anything else, safe from harm, and to train and all that, to prepare for that future battle that they'll need her in. So there you have it, everyone. Those were some of my theories as to where Captain Marvel may have been this entire time. I'm very much looking forward to finding out if any of these theories actually turn out to be true once the movie comes out and once, we have that end credits scene that everyone's probably looking forward to. But I'd also love to hear some of you guys' theories. Where do you think she's been all this time, and why do you think she hasn't helped out, as far as the story goes and all that? What are you looking forward to the most when the new movie hits theaters? Give me your answers to these questions in the comments section down below. And if you liked the video, be sure to subscribe for more just like it. I may do a theory about Doctor Strange's big plan that he was keeping from everybody, probably in a future video. So stay tuned for that as well in case I do decide to do that. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great weekend.